Okay, here we are, Fedor. Thank you for being here today with me. I'm very excited with this interview. So I'm going to start with all the questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Perfect. First one is a little bit funny, I think. You had to summarize your poker career in 60 seconds from the beginning. Okay? I'm going to start the timer now. Let's go.
Okay. Started playing with friends, 1 cent, 2 cents, then got a bit more professional, skipped university, then started playing mid-stakes online, then won W Coup, then started playing high stakes, got into super high rollers, was #1 online, then played live tournaments, was #1 live, then won a lot of money in 2016 in tournaments, then went on a break for 3 years. Now I'm back with Poker Code and teaching people, and played high stakes again and won my second bracelet. So.
Perfect. Okay, 45 seconds. Huge career. Great. And next one. How did you make the leap from amateur to professional poker player?
That wasn't so clear. It wasn't that day that I was pro. I would say it was a transition. It was months, maybe a year, from like 2012 to 2013. I would say the biggest difference was going full-time, so doing it basically all the time, not doing much else. The second thing was doing it a bit more professionally, like really having a kind of a, before I was just playing like, oh, what do I play today for fun, and just go for it. And then I was like, okay, now I want to focus on, I tracked more, I looked more at, okay, what do I plan for the next couple months or this year? And then the third thing was working with other people together. Like I started creating groups of people that I work with and collaborated with them, and all this together made me go to a professional level.
So talking about this, the community and the importance of being with people, can you tell me one poker player that you admire and why? Or maybe it can be it can be another person of the poker world, not poker player maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking there's different angles. So there's people that helped me the most, and then there's people that I find most like inspiring or interesting. Like, okay, how do they do what they do? I would say. So the person who helped me the most was probably Steffen Sontheimer. So I learned a lot from the way he thinks and the way he told me how, like, explain poker, and like that was really, really helpful for me. A person that I always found very inspiring in terms of the way he plays or work ethic, probably Timothy Adams. Also, always, I never really knew what he was doing that he got so good, but always a very good player. And another player actually that comes to mind is European. He also, like, I met him a couple of times or talked to him, and he has a really, really sharp mind in a way where I'm like, I want to know how this guy thinks.
Yeah, nice. Very, very good poker player too. Fedor, who was the heads-up experience with Limitless?
With Limitless?
Yeah.
It was really great. I had a lot of fun. He's also a very inspiring guy. Like I think he comes off in a certain way. So people, if let's say you ask 100 people of like how they perceive him, you will hear 100 different answers.
Very funny.
Yeah, because I think, you know, to some he is this the ego and like the challenge and the competition, but like I think he's actually also a pretty chill guy, and he's, you know, he was fun to talk to, and he was pretty nice too, and he was honest in a way. I really liked that about players. When with him I felt like it was very direct and very honest, and I appreciated that a lot. And then it was a really cool challenge. Like it was really fun for me to battle.
Yeah. Well, you talk about your break. 3 years. Well, it was a lot. How was that?
It was great. I mean, I played a little bit, but not intensively. So mostly focused on the companies I was building and got invested in. So basically more entrepreneurship, and didn't really play much poker. So I think after playing too much poker, I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed, right.
Perfect. Yeah. I was going to ask why did you take that break, but it was because it was a lot of poker.
Yeah,
that's it.
I just played too much when I didn't want to. Like it was really, I could feel that I was just getting burned out, and I was at that time when I was very, very successful financially or results, and I got back from WSOP and I just felt burned out. I was really like, I don't want to play another day. And then I was like, wait, there's a problem. If I perform so well and I don't really like it, then I cannot continue like this. And so I told myself, like, I will take a break, and if I feel like getting back, I will go back. But I never felt like getting back, so I just didn't really play poker for 2017 to 18 to 19. I played a couple live stops and a couple online tournaments, but really not much. And then in 2020, I because of Corona and Poker Code, I started playing a bit more again.
Well, I had another question very similar, because it is if success put a limit on your motivation of the game for the game, sorry. So maybe this break is like a limit or not.
How do you mean the limit?
Sorry?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, of course. If success put a limit for your motivation for the game, maybe the break. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it definitely was a big realization that like it's more important for me to really be challenged and enjoy what I'm doing. And like I think I got so good because of that. I got so fast so good because I really liked it. I never forced myself to study, or I never forced myself to go somewhere, and then I did that. And then and especially 2016, it was a lot of, oh, I'm doing this and then I do this next, and I was never home and never stop. And then I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I sitting here when I don't want to be sitting here? And so yeah, this intrinsic motivation, this like, oh, I really like this, and I'm challenging, like, and my brain is working and I'm growing, like this part is very, very important for me in poker.
Perfect. What means poker code for you?
A lot, actually. It started meaning more and more and more, because in the beginning, it's a company and we created the course, but now it's people. It's a community. I know half of their names. I know what they struggle with, what their success is. It's so awesome to see. It's like like you have a team, and then you see this team develop. I see them. They started at $10 tournaments, and now some of them are at like $100 or $200 tournaments, and they're winning and they're growing. And it's really cool to see that some people who have been with us for now maybe 1 year, 1.5 years, we meet in person, like they start to become friends, they then grow and get better. And now we have the first people, like with our grindhouse, we have the first people winning. Like Mario just won $1 million. Like it's crazy, a year ago they were playing mid-stakes, and now they crush. So it's really cool to see when people put in the time and you have a really great environment, how far they can get.
And about the greenhouse, what is the main idea of the project?
Oh, it's very simple. You put people who are motivated together, and you try
to have fun.
Yeah, it's not only having fun, it's also with a clear goal of you identify people who clearly strive to become better at poker, or better with the example of poker. And then we try to give them everything we can to achieve that, right? Like we give them coachings, we have a chef, we do workouts, like we look at their schedule, and then like suddenly they're in an environment where 24/7 you're surrounded by positivity and you work towards your goals, and then you can see how this changes your lifestyle.
It's very funny that you have the YouTube channel because you can see them all the time, like a big brother of poker. I really like the idea. Very, very good. Well, you create also Prime Mind. I use that app and I recommend that. Considering this, you're very interesting in your well-being, I think. What is your daily routine to have a high performance in each session?
It's very different because I really try to focus on the things that I enjoy and that are good for me. So that's different for everyone. Also, it's different in each life phase. What I did a couple of years ago was very different than what I do now. So when I was playing poker, I woke up maybe 10 and then I was doing a light workout and doing some meditation or mindset work. And then I started playing. But now my day is different, now online is different and also off days and with my girlfriend, like there's a lot of things that change now. It's like I wake up a bit earlier. We mostly do workout together now. My nutrition is much different. So I mostly eat vegan right now. It's my life just has changed quite a bit. So it's much different than it was a couple of years ago.
That's good anyway, I think. Okay. Do you want to play poker forever, Fedor?
I can't answer that question. It's
hard.
Like when I feel like doing it, I can see that happening, but I think it's unlikely. But it's like playing chess, I started playing as a kid, then I didn't play for 10 years, then now I'm playing a bit more again. And when it's fun, you play, and when it's not fun, you don't. That's kind of how I see poker too. It's been a bigger thing in my life, so I dedicated more time to it, and I am much better at it than most other things, or all other things. But still, I'm going to be looking for situations where it's fun, and if there are not many of these, then I'm not going to play much.
Perfect. I really like that point of view of your life. And well, you talk about chess also. What are your expectations with this mountain game? Do you want to improve your strategy or just for fun? What about
with chess?
Yeah, with chess.
So I started around maybe 1200 or something. I'm now at maybe 1800. I don't really have too much expectations. For fun, I said like I want to reach 2000 this year.
Okay.
Which is hard.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can make it, but it's mostly I really like the way to think about it. It's also interesting to see how I really like bringing this way of learning something into another area. So I feel that the main thing I learned in poker is how to learn something really effectively.
Yes.
And so when I look at chess, it's just very fun for me to see, wow, there is this infinite amount of stuff that I can look at, and I can decide where to start, and I'm just following my curiosity. And mostly right now, how I study is I play a game, and then I review the game with Chess Engine, and then I see if there's something interesting. I'm like, oh, why is it, why does it do that, or why is this bad? Then I check it out, and if not, I just continue playing. So
perfect. Okay. Well, you are a very active person, always developing new projects. What motivates you to create and get involved in so many new things?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say I also got into a lot of things that I'm not so committed about. And that's now a pretty philosophical and personal answer, but I think I'm a person that really I have a very strong imagination. So I start building these ideas, and it could be like this, or this vision, or this outcome, or and I do that with a lot of topics I get into, right? So if I look at chess, then I'm immediately thinking about how would it be if I'm really good and I do this, and but that also makes it difficult to in the moment, right? Because it takes away from this right now. I'm 1200 and I just want to play a little bit because I'm already thinking 500 steps ahead. Yeah. And so with a lot of projects, I fell in love with the idea of the end, whatever that vision or the end product. We could have this amazing product or this amazing company, but it's not about the end result. It's about every piece that makes up the process and the end result in the end. And so if I'm not committed to that process, then it's not gonna work out. And so my big learning was to really focus on these little steps that make it up, right? So if I'm talking about, if I maybe fall in love with the idea of playing an instrument, first I try to figure out, do I want to play it now, for 50 minutes? And if I want to do that more often, then I get better at it, and at some point maybe I'm good at the instrument. But if I never want to play these 15 minutes, it doesn't make sense. And so regarding companies, that happened to me oftentimes, that I fell in love with an idea and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And then I realized 3 months or 6 months later, is like, yeah, I'm not committed to put in 50 hours a day, a week, just for this project. So that was important learning for me.
You're very passionate. That's why you really like to do new to create new projects and to develop new ideas. And it is about also a creativity, I think, no?
Yeah, but it's also about self awareness of knowing what exactly do I want to do, right? And it's easy to say, oh, I want to be the person to fly to the moon, but it's another thing to be the person to fly to the moon, right? So I'm not willing to put in the time nor the effort to be that, and I think it's important for me to realize that. Because if I think in big visions and think in big dreams, then I need to identify and double check also with, am I willing to put in the time to achieve it?
Great. Okay. What is your greatest virtue?
It's a fancy question. You mean virtue in terms of skill, or?
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably say looking at the things that other people consider that, because it's hard for me to say, okay, what am I doing better than others? I'm looking a lot at what other people recognize as like, oh, wow, you did this in this way and it wasn't so obvious. I would actually say it's recognizing patterns in big complex topics or fields of big data. So I look at something and to me, it's just a lot of things seem to make sense in some way. It's like, I see a correlation or interpretation of this data or some type of analysis. Like this is now very dry, but yeah, like this type of pattern recognition, I think, is probably one of my strongest suits.
Cool. And what about your greatest weakness?
I can see different angles here, but I would say it's overconfidence, thinking that I know things too well or too much relative to someone else or myself included, and then therefore getting stuck. I would say that's a big repeating thing I can observe.
Okay. About books, I really like to read. I think that you too. Tell me one book that changed your life in some way.
That's grand expectation for a book, but
yeah, in some way.
I'm happy if it's interesting. But I would say different directions. So there's books that I think also books should be like, I think they really fit in different parts of your life. It's like teaching. When you have that problem, you're much more interested in hearing something about this topic.
Yeah.
So when you struggle with like anxiety or a physical condition, then you're really interested to read about this physical condition. But just reading it without context, it's like, oh, okay, curious. Yeah. But so I would say there's a couple ones that I liked that were interesting for me. One is surprisingly Think and Grow Rich there were a couple of things in there that I really enjoyed reading about. It's not so much about the growing rich part, it's more just about the way the book is written. I would say I really actually haven't read many books this year, so I'm just trying to think what books I enjoyed earlier. There's actually nothing really coming to mind. There's one, Rupert Spira, Being Aware of Being Aware, that I really like. Like this direction of book. Also, Krishnamurti has spoken some words or written some words that were really inspiring for me. There's also Eisenstein, who writes about the financial system and different settings. Harari, around 21st Questions of the 21st Century, I think it's the title, or Homo Deus, like these type of books I really enjoyed. So there's a couple of directions. If I think a bit longer, I'd probably come up with a couple more names.
No, they are great. Great to know. Okay, you really like strategy games, and also I think it's strategy in general. Of course, poker is one of the strategy games of the world. What would you recommend to a beginner to develop strategic thinking?
I mean, it's maybe a dumb answer, but it's really thinking about the strategy. Yeah. So I feel a lot of people, they like it's a choice too, right? If you actively ask me, is like, okay, how do I get better at the game? Then I'd be like, okay, really try to think what the rules of the game are, what's the environment of the game, what are the options, and then how do you play, and what are other potential strategies, and comparing or trying to evaluate these strategies against your strategy. So whatever game you're playing, that's automatically happening for me, is I'm trying to evaluate the environment of the game and then thinking about, okay, what are the strategies, what expectations do these strategies have, and then try to go from there. So I think it's a certain type of way of thinking, to not just be like, oh, I played this card, but really thinking about, okay, I have these options. What happens, if I do this, then what are his options? How does this lead to an outcome? Is this favorable or not favorable? Is the other option better? Like, it's just a different way of thinking. So it's thinking that way that will probably make you a better strategical player.
You said so many times to look in different angles. It is something like that in this part too.
It's constantly trying to look, to discover new, to be curious, and to be like, oh, okay, this is what I'm doing now, but what are other things I could be doing? Perfect.
Okay, the last one. A dream to fulfill.
A dream to fulfill?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of things that I'm dreaming about, but it's more, I'm not forcing it to happen, but there's two things specifically. It's both connected to spaces. One is I've been dreaming of creating some sort of space somewhere in nature to go to, hopefully or optimally one that is warm in winter, or in European winter. So I've been looking for spaces to build this place, and potentially also infect other people. I got to be careful with that wording, but I mean, inspire other people. Yeah. Inspire other people to join us, and like being self-sustainable in some way with energy consumption and water and farming and sorry. Thanks. And the second is more here locally, which is bringing, like, also creating a space for people to just connect them. I feel there's so much value in connecting people and collaborating, and also creating exposure for topics and people that maybe aren't so present, because I think there are a lot of things going on in like that affect us that aren't so present, whether it's the way we make decisions or food, or health, or all kinds of educational, social topics around that happen, you know, that exist around us, but it's just not really experienced, and therefore it doesn't exist, but it exists. And there's a lot there where I feel like if there's more awareness in our community and society, I think we would come up with some very impactful local solutions around poverty or redistribution or decision making or educational systems and so on. So that would be another project that I'm very passionate about making happen at some point.
Really liked your dreams because they are very good for the world and for the society. This is what we should do, I think, as persons, just to reach projects to, I don't know, to have a better world, you know.
That would be great.
Hopefully, yeah. Fedor, would you like to say something to our Spanish-speaking community that really like you and your game and your personality in the poker world?
Besides Viva España and Vamos Brazil, no. No, there's nothing specific. I think I'm just excited that, first of all, it's always been confusing me how many, specifically Brazilian, I'm not sure about the Spanish community, but specifically Brazilian followers I have. I think it's about 15% at least on my Instagram. So I'm always like, wow, okay, where are all these Brazilian people? So I really love the passion and the excitement for the game, and always mostly just had good experiences. So that's also the passion and the fire. That's always been fun. So yeah, just keep it up and keep the passion, increase the passion, and
Right.
that would be great.
You should come to Argentina, I told you.
Yeah.
It's very, very beautiful. Okay, thank you, Fedor. Thank you so much for this time. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome, Pamela.
See you on the tables.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.